Angelica Toy with Rebel News, and today I am joined by Kathy Drake, a Canadian who now finds herself at the center of a free speech battle after a post she made on Twitter. The tweet has sparked serious controversy and has led to legal costs significant enough that a legal defense fund has been set up in her name. Her situation raises an important question. What does free speech actually mean in Canada today if one social media post can land you in this kind of trouble? Kathy isn't just raising concerns about the state of expression in this country, she's living the consequences of it. At the end of the day, Kathy's situation shows how twisted Canada's idea of hate speech has become. These laws aren't being used to stop a genuine hatred, they're being used to police people's feelings. If someone doesn't like your opinion, suddenly it's treated like a threat. Her tweet wasn't illegal, it wasn't violent, it was an opinion, and it still sparked a legal debate. That is the problem. We're watching free speech get downgraded from a right to something you only get if your viewpoint aligns with whatever the government activists consider acceptable.
So I was at Mount Royal University, and I was there understanding that the school had become ideologically captured. I saw in classroom, in the curriculum, there was gender ideology being taught as fact, indoctrination happening, and I was getting more and more frustrated. Then I saw this student who was raising money to fight Bills 26, 27, and 29, which I support fully. And that frustration mounted, and I calmly approached her. It was at a craft fair, and I asked her, if she supports, for example, teachers keeping secrets with minors, such as name changes and pronoun changes. And I saw that as a grooming tactic. Anytime an adult keeps secrets with minors, it's a huge red flag. So that's why I used the word groomer when I made the post. And I made the post, in a sense, out of duty.
And what was the reaction from the public?
I got a positive response. There was lots of likes, reshares. It seems as though on X there's a culture of being very straightforward and even using curse words. It seems as though people want that sort of just fresh, straightforward sort of style of communication.
And at what point did you realize that this is a lot more than just an online disagreement?
When I initially had a complaint by the university, later on I dropped out, but then there was a filed lawsuit in July of the summer, and that's when I realized at that point that at no point in time was there any communication between myself and the plaintiff, that she tried to get a hold of me or ask me to take the post down or anything like that.
And what did this individual say to you after she saw this post online?
Nothing.
So she just straight up complained and then you received a legal notice?
I received a complaint from Student Community Standards from Mount Royal University at first, and then later on I received the lawsuit being served to me.
And what does your situation say about Canada and where it's heading when it comes to open debate and dissenting views?
Well, this is very concerning because this lawsuit will set a precedence. The issue here is removing vocabulary from the lexicon so that we can't truly express what we think. We need to live in a society where we can state what we believe to be true and have political opinions. And so speech can't be chilled by having words removed from the lexicon. You shouldn't have to face litigation because there's some forbidden words that you're not allowed to use.
And what is next for your case?
Right now we're waiting. The defense has been filed and the plaintiff has 3 months to respond. And so that could happen at any moment or the clock could be run out.
And for those Canadians watching who do want to support free speech and want to support you, how can they do that?
You can go to my X account at Nuala Moonsnail, N-U-L-A Moonsnail, and my pinned post has a link to the fundraiser, which was set up by Chanel Fowl, who's a school teacher. With that, it says, I'm being sued by trans activists. I made that plural because although there's only one plaintiff, it appears as though the opposing lawyer is also an activist. It seems as though lawfare is being used by activist lawyers in order to try and set precedents for their own political agenda. And it seems to be, in my eyes, a misuse of the law, and it's dangerous to set precedences where people are not going to be able to express opinions that they believe to be true.
Do you think the new legislation that Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is putting in is going to aid towards helping us with free speech as opposed to the laws that Prime Minister Carney is trying to put in?
I can't speak to Carney. I haven't been following Carney that close, but Premier Danielle Smith has been doing so many good things. I'm so proud to be an Albertan because she's our premier. With Bills 26, 27, and 29, it finally feels like there's an adult in the room. I think they're incredibly important. I think we need to protect children. This gender ideology is something that I think is quite dangerous. I don't think it's just a benign thing. I believe that if you're untethering children from reality to possibly be confused about or reject their own sex, their biological sex, I believe that will lead to harmful consequences, as we can see. So the medicalization of children, so on and so forth. So for her to stand up against that based on evidence that we've seen, New Zealand has recently banned puberty blockers, the UK and other nations have also followed suit. So I believe that Danielle Smith is ahead of the curve. And I think that having her around supports free speech in so many ways. However, because of the hornet's nest that she's stirred up, this is an issue where she's also not created the situation, but the opposing side that are authoritarian want to see this crushed. They want to crush dissent. They want to crush free speech. And so the woke authoritarians wanting to crush free speech and dissent are going to become even more riled up in response to Danielle Smith.
If you appreciate what we do here at Rebel News and you want to help us continue in the battle of being a free speech supporting news outlet, please head to rebelnews.com and make a donation.